Death Battle Season 9 is about to return, so I might as well do this as fast as I can. So let's get into it. This is my prediction for the future episodes to come. Sorry for the rushed intro. Also, none of these are in order apart from the beginning one and the last two. For those who weren't at the RTX panel or haven't heard about this from other people, spoilers ahead. Our first episode, which is basically confirmed to be happening, is James Bond versus John Wick. While I do think these characters have better options, namely Jason Bourne for Bond and Agent 47 for John, I'm still interested to see where they could go with this. There's a lot you could do with this episode. You could show off Bond's absurd amount of gadgets and John's incredible murdering capabilities. And if James does win, the track has to end with the iconic 007 theme. Although I'm not entirely sure who wins. But I wouldn't really be disappointed if either lost, because I really don't have a connection to these two outside of my dad, who, well, is a big James Bond fan. We're bound to get a cartoon fight this season, and out of Luz vs. Anne and Mordecai and Rigby vs. Finn and Jake, I gotta go with Luz vs. Anne. Owl House and Amphibia have become really popular as of late, and while I prefer movie Sonic vs. Anne, the superior matchup, there's really no denying that Owl House and Amphibia have way more of a rivalry than Sonic and Amphibia does. As for who wins, I'm not sure. I think Luz might take it from what I've heard, but honestly, I don't really have any connection to the Owl House or Amphibia to care. You know what Death Battle needs? More video game episodes. And you know what's a perfect legacy match that didn't happen last season? Dante vs. Kratos. If you don't follow me on Twitter, link in the description, you may be surprised to find out that I love God of War. And while I don't talk about it that much, I also love Devil May Cry. So naturally I love this matchup, and the fact that they haven't done it yet is honestly both surprising and saddening. This episode has so much potential with the sheer amount of weapons these two have. You could have Gilgamesh clash with the Nemenian Cestus, King Cerberus clash with the Blades of Chaos, Yamato clash with the Blade of Olympus. Plus, I just think their characters would clash really well. Kratos being a more calm and level-headed person like he is in the recent God of War games, and Dante being the lovable pizza-eating goofball he always is. It could even end with Dante going Sin Devil Trigger and Kratos using his Spartan Rage. This episode has a lot of potential, and I would love to see that potential play out on screen. As for who wins, oh my god, the community has been racking their head about this for like 2 years now. Don't know who wins. Frankly, don't really care since I really like both these characters. And apparently from what I heard, they also got nerfed to like multi-continental, both of them, but I haven't seen any evidence of that yet. No matter how many times I ask, I just don't get it, so I'll just say for now that I don't know who wins. I originally had Gru vs. Megamind here, but then realized that there was no other Marvel vs. DC fight, so Black Adam vs. Apocalypse. This is another Marvel vs. DC fight, which means it's almost guaranteed to happen. Don't really have much to say about this, other than it would be perfect for promoting the Black Adam movie coming out in October, 7 days before my birthday. Thank you, The Rock. And if it does happen, the fight should take place in Egypt, but just not, like, in a general area in Egypt. Like take place in, like, a palace or something, where one of the characters is ruling over, and then the other character comes in and tries to usurp the other's throne. That would be a pretty cool way to show off their personalities, and that's about it. I hope they show off a lot of their arsenal, especially with the Apocalypse, because he can do a lot. That's about it. That's really all I have to say. This next one is a bit weird to put here, but I think that Biolith versus the Traveler from Genshin Impact will probably happen this season. Ben has said multiple times before that he wants to do a Fire Emblem episode, and I think that this one's pretty cool to do. Also, one of my friends on Twitter really likes Biolith, and if this episode were to be announced, I know that she would be really excited. You know who you are if you're watching this. Yeah, that's really about it. I just think this matchup is really cool. It could actually kind of be like a tag team matchup too, where you can have the male and female version of Biolith fight the male and female version of the Traveler, and then it culminates with one of the two winning. That'd be pretty cool to see. It could be like, Weiss versus Mitsuru, only better. Actually really liked that episode. For our Halloween special this season, we are bound to get a horror movie rep given how popular this matchup is. No, John Yaucha is not a horror rep, he's more of an action sci-fi rep. Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers. This matchup has been super popular for a while, and if you ask me, now is the time to do it. If this episode isn't done in live action, then a 3D episode will do. And to me, there are 3 important things that need to happen in this episode. It needs to set a spooky atmosphere, there needs to be at least 1 jump scare, from either combatant will do, and Michael has to kick Jason in the crotch only for Jason to not react, because that would be a neat callback to Freddy vs. Jason. And before all of you say, oh, that's out of character for Michael, I'm pretty sure he's done weirder stuff before, so no, it's not. As much as I want Zero vs. Meta Knight to happen this season, this episode seems more likely. Bowser vs. Dr. Eggman. Now, this would be the time that I would say, this episode would be perfect for the release of the Illumination Mario movie in December. But unfortunately, that movie was delayed to next year. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Anyway, like Dante vs. Kratos, I'm honestly shocked this hasn't happened yet. Especially for Season 8, because that was all about legacy matchups, and this is the legacy matchup for Mario vs. Sonic characters. Aside from Mario vs. Sonic, of course. And it's also another matchup that I really like. What I really like most about this matchup is the potential banter between these two. Eggman, being a genius, could bounce off perfectly with Bowser's idiotic nature. And if it does happen, there has to be a final fight with the Death Egg robot from Sonic Forces and Fury Bowser from Bowser's Fury. Maybe Eggman threatens to harm Junior while curb stomping Bowser, only for Bowser to get so, freaking pissed that he has an epic transformation scene into Fury Bowser that is on par with Ganondorf's transformation into Ganon in Ganondorf vs. Dracula. I'm imagining, but that would be pretty cool. And for the season finale, I predict an episode that no one has ever thought of. It's Kyle Rayner vs. Simone the Digger. Original, I know. But outside of Galactus vs. Unicron, which is probably going to happen after Death Battle has already ended, Kyle vs. Simone is an episode worthy of being a finale. This isn't some Deadpool vs. Pinkie Pie shit. We're in the big leagues now. And given how well animated Ben 10 vs. Green Lantern was, this episode has the potential to be the best of its season, if not the entire series, if done right. I'll also find it pretty funny if Death Battle has another Green Lantern kill another Yuri Lowenthal voiced character. That would just be irony. In all seriousness though, I legit get hyped every time I think of this matchup. The animation potential is just so phenomenal. I legit can't think of another word. So much so that I didn't even write it in the script. Anyway, just thinking about Kyle creating a bunch of cool constructs like Hal did to overwhelm Simone, and then Simone one-upping Kyle with Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, and then Kyle matching TTGL with the White Lantern Ring, and they both create massive drills and charge at each other, ending with one of the characters losing gives me chills every time. Now sure, that's not how it might happen, but that's how I imagine it happening. And that's why I predict this will be the episode that will be the Season 9 finale. Well, that was my list. Don't like it? Bugger off then.